Welcome to this moment, one I wasn't really sure would ever happen in my career, but hey, we're all about trying new things around here, aren't we? What's up, socials? Welcome back to Amy TV. Today we're gonna do something very different. I'm gonna step out of my usual box here, and it's because of a video I posted last week. We talked about how to always look put together, and I mentioned that I have a camera-ready makeup routine as opposed to a normal day or a day at home where I don't want anyone to see me routine. And a lot of you expressed interest in seeing what that makeup routine looks like. I've never done a makeup tutorial before. This is a very different thing for me. But it seemed like a totally acceptable request because we talk a lot about video and putting your best face forward, and for a lot of us, that includes applying makeup in a way that makes us look good on camera, which is not the same as looking good in person. You have to do quite a lot more to kind of have a face when the camera is pointed at you. I mean, honestly, if I could count the number of times that people thought that I hadn't slept in a week just because I didn't put eyeliner on, I'd cry a little. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna step over to my desk/makeup area where I apply makeup before I get on camera so I can take you through all of the crazy steps I do to look like this. If you are here to be mean, then I ask you to leave now because I just don't have the patience for it today, okay? I'm here to help people, and a lot of people did ask for this. You are about to see my face without makeup on, so I care not to hear what you think about that. This is for educational purposes, and hopefully that is what you're here for, and hopefully it serves as that for you. Okay, so let's hop over to my makeup station and get this party started. Okay, so we're still in my office. This is where I sit to do my makeup. I have some space in my desk drawers specifically for where I keep my makeup, so I can sit here in front of a window to do all of this. I just got out of the shower. I'm wearing my robe, which is clearly the robe I wear to put makeup on. I've already got my beauty blenders ready. I have these, obviously this is huge, right? You have to get these really soaking wet and wring them out if you're not aware of how the beauty blender works. This is how I apply most of my makeup because there's a ton of blending that is involved. A ton. But before we can get to that point, we need to put on primer. I always wear a primer. The one that I typically go for is the Too Faced Primed Poreless Skin Smoothing Face Primer. What it does to kind of like make the skin like a canvas is really nice. I like the way that the texture of the primer is, which is why I use this one. It really does feel like it's filling my pores. So I'm gonna start with my foundation, which is the new NARS. It's the Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. When I found out about this, I was very excited about it because what I prefer on camera is to not look too matte. I hate looking matte. My skin tends to go dry anyway. I know that generally it's not advised to have any shine when you are on camera, but I prefer to have just enough glow that it doesn't look like I am in desperate need of hydration. The color of it is Patagonia. I am not Patagonia, however, that is because I really prefer to make my skin darker than the actual white tone that it is because my videos are very white, right? We know that my background is fairly clean looking. So I don't want to blend in with my background. I want to look like I have a healthy skin tone. So it actually takes a much darker color on my skin in order for me to be able to do that. I don't like to waste this product, so I try to just put it on my face directly. And then just go straight in with the blender. So the biggest thing here is that I'm just trying to like spread it out as evenly as possible and blend a lot, because the best thing that I can do, especially when I'm going to such a dark color on my face, is get it to be so deep into the skin that it doesn't just wipe off. So I actually sit here and probably blend makeup into my face for 5 minutes. Like literally 5 minutes. I'll just keep kind of like patting it in and blending it out and then adding more and sort of just building it up, because I don't like to put too much on my face right away because then you start to lose control. I just want a little bit, start working it in, definitely come down the chin, and I'm gonna get more of like my décolleté and everything later, but I'm just gonna start with what I have now. Okay, so what I also like to do in this situation is just make sure that I've really got it packed onto my face and it's not going anywhere. So I need a tissue. So I'm just making sure I'm really pressing it in before I do this step. I like to take just like one ply of a tissue and just wrap the beauty blender with this and then just like pat around, especially in these areas where I tend to pack it on more, and just dab it so that if there's excess, it's coming off. And the reason I do that is I don't like to feel like I could literally wipe my makeup off. And you'll notice if you've done a really good job of blending, you won't see a lot of makeup on the tissue. Okay, so next we're gonna do concealer. I have a couple of different of the NARS concealer that I like to use. Okay, so these are the Radiant Creamy Concealers, which of course are like probably the most popular concealer to ever buy from Sephora, I'm pretty sure. It goes perfectly with the Radiant foundation. So I have two colors. The color I typically go for on a day-to-day basis, depending on like if I got enough sleep, is Custard, medium 1. And if I think I need a little bit of help in the brightening department underneath my eyes, which sometimes I really need it and other times I'm like, I don't really care. It doesn't really have to be like this like brightness. But if I do, I go for light 2.5, which is Creme Brûlée. I think I am gonna do the light one. I think I am gonna do Creme Brûlée. Again, like same thing. The blending situation needs to be for real. Just patting, and I definitely go into the eye itself to do this as well so that my whole eye looks bright and then bring it up above my eyebrow. I just feel like that's more consistent for the concealer and it's not just like a line underneath my eyes, which I think is so weird when I see people that didn't really quite blend it right and they didn't like make it look like it's a look. I like to just add a little bit more because I'm getting some dark circles now that I am getting older. Now we need to do eyebrows. And I just bought this pencil and I'm really liking it. You might have seen on my Instagram stories that I could not resist the Benefit vending machine at the airport. And this is the Preceisely My Brow Pencil from Benefit. This is really important because if you lose your eyebrows, you lose a lot of your face on camera. It's really annoying. So we're gonna start here. Do you see the difference? Oh my God. That's probably like my favorite thing that I do right now because it makes such a big difference to your face when you have eyebrows. What I'm gonna do next is my eyes. I really stay simple with eyes. I am not good at eyes. I've never wanted to be good at eyes. However, I started to dabble in it a little bit more because one, Jaclyn Hill did something very useful for someone like me, and I will explain that. So next I'm gonna go in with Lemonade from Benefit. This is their eye primer. I've had this for so long, like maybe that's gross, but it lasts forever. It literally makes everything go on perfectly smooth. Nothing starts like bunching up in like the creases of your eyes, and I just tap it on so that it starts working. Okay, so now we've got a good amount of primer. The brushes I'm gonna be using are from something you might be able to get, which is really useful. Like if you have no idea, if you're like me and you're like, I have no idea what brushes I need to buy, I don't know what they're for, I don't understand, especially with eyeshadow. I was very excited when Jaclyn Hill did a partnership with Morphe, and they basically made a brush kit based on what all of her favorite brushes are. It has been the most useful thing I have ever purchased in terms of makeup and understanding how to do it. She did a video explaining every single brush, and that was really cool. I'll link to all of this because it is so useful for me. I didn't have to go do like all this research of all the different brushes that I needed. I was able to just buy this kit, and that's like a one and done easy fix for me. And I love it because you can just like keep it in this box. All of the brushes don't get like all folded up. You can kind of just have it open on your desk like this, and all of the brushes are in perfect condition. They're not folded up, they're not all jacked. This is my favorite brush of all time, ever. This is like an all over sort of eyeshadow brush, and it's the Morphe M504. And so you can kind of see that this is gonna do a good job of like just putting color all over my eyes. I'm also gonna be using the R37, and this is similar, but it's gonna help me stay focused in just one area of the eye. And the reason I'm using those is I actually would prefer to just put one color on my eyes and be done, but I've been trying to be a little bit more sophisticated than that lately and go for two. I hate doing like the crease blending, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I have no interest because it's just too much work. Base color I'm gonna use is from the Naked 2 Urban Decay Basics palette. So I'm just using the all over brush to just put Stark all over. So now I'm actually gonna take a bronzer, not the bronzer I'm gonna use on my face. I'm gonna use a different bronzer. It is the Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil. And so I'm gonna use that R37 brush and just really pack it on, but then also unpack it. And I'm just gonna go onto my lid with this one, just to add a little bit of a different color. I've actually done this before where I didn't even put a base color on. I really love to just put bronzer on my eyes and call it a day, because it is pretty much all I actually need, especially for like a day-to-day makeup. And so now it looks like I have eyes, which is lovely. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to that Naked 2 palette, and something that I prefer to do for eyeliner, which is extremely important for me on camera, because otherwise everyone's like, oh my God, you look so tired, Amy. Oh my gosh, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I just didn't put eyeliner on, you guys. Can you chill? I'm never gonna do that again because it's the worst idea on camera. I hate doing eyeliner the traditional way. So I just don't like to touch my face that much when I'm doing makeup, and so eyeliner causes like so many issues for me. So what I'm using is probably the biggest godsend of my life, because not only is it easier, it actually looks good, and my other eyeliner never looked good. So this is the M432 Morphe brush. It is a very flat edge, and what it's gonna do is it's gonna play the role of applying eyeliner in a straight line really nicely. So I'm going back into that eyeshadow palette with Undone, which is a very, very, like, I guess I would call it a dark brown, like a really dark brown, like almost gray, coal. I love it. It's not black and it's not brown, but it's like a really dark color. And what I do is just go to the outer corner of my eye and work my way in. Because of my eyes, I don't put eyeliner all the way to the inside. I try to just go to the outside of the eyeball. I'll stop there, but I'm starting from the outside and working my way in, and I've just packed color on here and tapped a little bit off, and I'm just gonna push it down and maybe wiggle it a little bit so that it sticks, and that's it. I'm just gonna keep stamping it along my eye. And then I won't put as much color on. I actually won't even probably put color on as I continue to go to the middle here, because I want it to like taper out and look like a natural line. That's it. Leave it alone, it's fine. Oh my God, I love that so much. If you do like regular eyeliner and you just kind of wish it blended a little bit better, this was kind of getting me by before I realized this other trick. And this is the Morphe E18. And this is basically like a pencil brush. So I would have taken this end and sort of like, if I drew my eyeliner on like with a regular eyeliner crayon or whatever, I would use this to blend it out, and that would help it look a lot more natural. So I highly recommend that if you prefer your already fabulous eyeliner routine. This is the M213, and this brush is just a nice little applicator for like the inside of your eye or your brow line. So I'm just gonna use the lightest color in this palette, which is called Skimp, and pack it onto the end of this and just add a little bit of lightness here. And this is probably not the ideal color for that either, but I don't like to use something that's like white because then it looks really unnatural. So you just probably want to go for the lightest color in your palette for something like this. So the other thing you can do, and I don't think I want to do it today, but I'll take that same light color and dab it in here and really brighten up the eye, but I think I'm going to use Touche Éclat for that today. This is the YSL Touche Éclat. This is basically a cream that pumps up into this little brush. And I like to just dab this when I'm done with my, and you really don't need a lot. You really just like pump it one time and it just fills. It's really, really good. And just like tap that in there. Tap that in there. Just dab that out. Not too much because otherwise it disappears from my face, but just enough to really make that eye look alive again, especially if your concealer is not doing that for you. Mine isn't bright enough really to do that for me. Bronzer. So today I'm going to use, I'm back on Holla again. I just got this out of the Benefit vending machine because I was kind of missing it. And brush am I gonna use? The brush I prefer to use is, especially on camera, is one that defines my face a lot more. So on a typical day, I would probably use the Morphe R2 because it's very big. It's more like sweeping motions, like, you know, and I'm definitely gonna use this on my neck. So I'm gonna go ahead and use Too Faced because there's a lot more space for me to put this brush than in the mini Holla. This is not the normal size Holla. I'm gonna just take this and pack on some bronzer down here because we are clearly not matching our face right now. And because I'm having to do so much catch up with what color my face is and what color my chest is, I don't really tap off the bronzer. I just keep packing it on. I am going to use the Holla and I'm going to use the Morphe M437. Which is just a nice, like, simple brush that can help you be a lot more focused in certain areas with your bronzer. And it also fits perfectly in the mini Holla because I was not able to buy a full-size Holla because they were out of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pack this on, but then tap it off. Because you want it like all over the brush, but you don't want to have way too much. I love Holla. I don't know why I stopped using it. Because it's a color that matches so many people, but you can pack it on as you need more and it will build up really nicely. So I just want to come down to my lip to kind of draw that natural contour. I'm going to start with the contouring. And again, I'm not that great at this, but I just blend out everything I do and kind of make it work. But right now we're just sort of putting the color there. And if you're gonna contour your cheeks, you've gotta come up. So coming up to the outside here, really getting it into the hairline so it looks natural. I come down a little bit here, make it look like I'm actually sun-kissed, which is not a thing, ever, ever, ever. And I really just start with like those simple spots because I don't like to build up one side of my face until I make sure I'm like even on both sides. Now I'm going to use the big brush to kind of blend this out because I don't like how harsh it looks right now. And I definitely need to like brush it up more into my... Because again, this is a balance between it needs to look right on camera, which you're getting a view of. I'm looking at it naturally. But it also needs to be popping enough that you can see it on camera. The blush I have that I don't even know if I love it. I'm just super lazy about blush. Like I'm the laziest blush user. I've just had the same blush forever. It's Dandelion from Benefit. And this is just sort of like, I feel like this is like the next layer of the bronzer looking natural on my face. I don't like get all like, I just like add it as like a layer. And the other thing is my beauty blender will come into play. As long as there's no powder on my face, I will use my beauty blender for freaking everything. I'll take like the blunt end of this, and if I'm like, ugh, it's too pink, I'll just like blend it in a little bit. And the other thing is like, I can do this with bronzer too. Like if I'm still thinking this doesn't look quite right. Okay, before I get to highlight, this is probably my favorite step in this process is like, again, I'm trying to keep as much glow on my face as possible. So this is my favorite product of all time, literally all time. This is the By Terry Compact Expert Dual Powder, and it's in Ivory Fair. This is really nice because if you want a powder to set what you're doing, but you don't want to lose the radiance of the makeup that you're applying, you need something that has some glow in it. That's what I feel like this is. I'm just gonna use a fan brush for this and really just get in there and pack it on this brush. Let me tap it off a little bit. And I'm just gonna flutter this on my face. And what this does is it just adds, any of that radiance that could potentially be going away, I keep it intact with this thing. So there's definitely a nice shimmer there. So I'm gonna have that done, and now that that's done, that's set, now I can go in with highlight and not worry that it's gonna get all over my face. Like if I were fluttering that all over and I had highlight, then we have highlight going everywhere. I want my highlight in one spot. This is my favorite highlight. This is an expensive highlight. It is the Dior Nude Air Luminizer. It comes in a compact like this. It's really, really lovely. And it's just a very simple tone. And I will use my Morphe 510, which came with this box as well. It's just a very simple applicator. I like it because it keeps where I'm putting the highlight very focused on where I'm putting the highlight. I'm just gonna dress up this brush, tap it off significantly, and just go on the high cheekbone right here. And it looks like a lot because we're going on camera. And in person, I probably would, if I'm just going to like a thing to see people, I'm not gonna put this much highlight on. Like I'm just not. But what I'm also gonna do is blend it out. So I'm really just putting it in place right now. I like to put a little bit above the eye because it's meant to be a bit lighter up here. It adds a little bit of shine there. Excuse me, above the eyebrow, I should say. And my favorite other places to put it are a little bit on my nose, a little bit there, and Cupid's bow. This will help like the definition of your lip color. Now I need to blend this out because I look like a highlighted mess. And you need to wash this off and not use it for anything else because now it has highlight on it. And I'm just gonna like buff this in. It's gonna look much more natural, really just touching only the areas that have highlight. And although it looked significant before, you can just keep beauty blending until your heart's content, and it is gonna help it look so much more natural. This is the They Are Real Tinted Primer. This is so good for no makeup days and not putting real mascara on. Holy crap. If you're like me and you have really kind of light, not very poppin' eyelashes, this is a fantastic primer. So I'm gonna start with this. So this I'm gonna use, this is Drugstore, the Volume Million Lashes from L'Oreal Paris. I actually use a lot of L'Oreal stuff usually, but today I guess not. And we're just gonna dress these babies up a little bit more. I will be putting a second layer of mascara on, but I like to set my face in between. And so I'm gonna be using the Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray. Long lasting, baby. That's what we really want. We want to get all the mileage out of this. Now that that's sort of like finishing, going for more mascara. Okay, today I'm gonna go with something a little bit more pink. And so the combination is going to be MAC Soar Lip Pencil. So you can see it's like a dark pink color. And then I'll go ahead with my lipstick. It is the Tom Ford Blush Nude. It's color 13. So this is just one of the nude combos that I like to use, and it helps me keep that like really natural look on camera. Let's just set it again for the fun. Love it. I love this spray. This spray is life. So just to give you a little bit more of a close-up of the makeup, and now let me just turn this one light on. So once you start getting your lighting, you can see how like there's a little bit of radiance here, but not too much. Like it's not so shiny that it doesn't look right, and it's not so matte that I look like I'm dehydrated. So there you go. I just got done applying my makeup. I moved over here to where I usually film, turned my Canon 70D on. I have all of my light boxes on. The room looks as though I am about to film a real video in it because this is what I typically do. Put that makeup on, sit here, and film. So you can kind of see the difference between me showing you that up close and personal shot with the Sony RX100 and me sitting in front of the Canon with a totally professional light setup, and how the amount of makeup I put on really does matter, because if I would have put a lot less on, you probably would not see as many features of my face, just because cameras are weird. They're really making us more high maintenance by the day, I tell you what. If this video was useful for you, please give it a thumbs up. I would like to hear in the comments what you thought about this, if this is something you want to see more of in terms of self-care, how that applies in front of the camera or not in front of the camera. There were some people who said when I was polling you guys about this video, I would love to see this, but quite frankly, it's more interesting to me what you would wear on a normal day. So I don't really know what direction we're going in, but I'd love to hear your feedback on that. It's all about what you guys want, truthfully. You know that's what I'm here for. But for now, that's all for today's socials. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Make sure you subscribe for good vibes, and remember to continue to go after the life that you want, even if it means putting all of this stuff on your face. Cheers.